It was the beginning of the autumn, the first year of the war with the Atlanteans, who had come to unknown world of Ida to pillage and burn. As it seemed, the end of summer heralded the cessation of the hostilities, but that was not the case. The summer heat gave way to night rains and icy winds, and silence fell. But it was the calm before the storm. Morning fog slowly rolled out from the Almerian forest, spreading over the nearby fields that no one had managed to harvest. A pair of Almerian warriors patrolled the edge of their forest realm. "Did you hear that?" one of them said. After an endless long moment of silence, a flock of crows suddenly rose into the air. Both men turned around and tightened their grips on their weapons. The birds were cawing, warning of unknown visitors. Then came the sound of hoofs, the sound of creatures that Almarians had never seen. The Atlantean cavalry was approaching. The war was not over yet. Our story begins on the southern coast of Ida, a region populated by Tarkan people. The Atlanteans, highly advanced and powerful civilization, began raiding the coast. Their arrival was marked by mysterious mist and swift brutal attacks. They would vanish just as quickly, leaving only destruction behind. As they reached the fertile lands of the Tarkan territory, they decided to establish a foothold, setting up camp and preparing to dominate the region. The Tarkan king Tarsis responded by sending envoys to the Atlanteans to understand their intentions. But the invaders, arrogant and confident in their superiority, demanded the Tarkans submit their rule and pay tribute in the form of crops. Naturally, the proud Tarkan people refused, which led to the brutal execution of their messengers by the Atlanteans. In retaliation, Tarsis launched a surprise attack on the Atlantean foraging party with his lightly armed warriors, the Peltasts. Though successful at the first, Tarkans were ultimately outnumbered. Tarsis was forced to retreat, realizing the dire situation they faced. Realizing he couldn't fight the Atlanteans alone, Tarsis fled north to seek help from Sitalces, the vice ruler of another Tarkan tribe. Sitalces scolded Tarsis for acting recklessly, but he agreed to help. He understood that only through unity could the scattered Tarkan tribes hope to resist the Atlantean forces. Sitalces sent messengers to the neighboring tribes calling for the Grand Council to discuss their next steps. This council became a pivotal moment for the Tarkan people as they debated whether to fight or negotiate for peace. During the council, tensions were high. Many blamed Tarsis for provoking the Atlanteans, while others were paralyzed by fear of their powerful enemies. Sitalces, however, calmed the storm. He reminded the gathered rulers of their ancestors' strength, urging them to unite as a single force. Eventually, the leaders agreed on the plan. While Sitalces would send messengers to Atlanteans to stall for time, the Tarkan tribes would prepare for war. They would fortify their villages, gather supplies, and train their warriors. In 2 months' time, they would regroup and strike back. However, Sitalces' attempt to peace failed miserably. When his messengers arrived at the Atlantean camp, enemy demanded unconditional surrender, including the handover of Tarsis. When the messengers couldn't comply, the Atlanteans mutilated them and sent them back as the brutal message. There would be no negotiations. At the same time, the Atlanteans launched devastating raids across the Tarkan lands, enslaving survivors and burning villages to the ground. The Tarkans now knew that they are dealing with a foe unlike they had fought before, one that ruled through fear and terror. Faced with the relentless advance of the Atlanteans, Sitalces called for the massive retreat. He ordered the eastern Tarkan tribes to take refuge under Eagle Mountain, while others would hide in the Almarian forest. The Almarian forest, home to the fierce Almarians, was known for its warlike inhabitants. Divided into the clans, the Almarans were skilled hunters and warriors who fought mostly without armor, relying on agility and their intimate knowledge of the dense forest to defend themselves. With the help of these forest warriors, Sitalces hoped to turn the tide against the Atlantean invaders. As the story of the Atlantean invasion unfolds, We witness fierce battle of survival, with the Tarkan people rallying together in the face of unstoppable force. Their unity, wisdom, and strategic alliance would determine whether they could defend their homeland or fall under the yoke of Atlantean tyranny. Stay tuned for the next chapter of this epic saga, where we dive deeper into the battles that shaped the future of Eden. This is just a short summary and part of the story Rise of the Atlanteans from my world-building art book. It follows the first part of the book, Prologue, The Rise of the Atlanteans, which you can read in the recent post on my Patreon. And there is another lore video on my YouTube channel about this story. On my Patreon is a small preview from my book. It's free to read and will be uploading more parts soon. The story describes early invasion of the Atlanteans on the southern coast of Ida, which sparked conflict among the local people, particularly the Tarkans and Almarians, as they attempt to resist the powerful enemy from the sea. Let me know how you like it and if you be interested in the reading more parts. Of course, I am planning new lore videos about creating my fantasy world, but this will take some time, so I can't promise when it will be. So if you're interested, you can read a few pages from the book ahead of time. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe for more tales of ancient civilization, epic battles and legendary leaders. Let me know in the comments what do you think that Tarkans should have done differently and how they can defeat the Atlanteans in the future battles. I love you all and see you next time.